Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking into, well, a really unique approach to personal and relationship enhancement.
Uh-huh.
Our source material is some excerpts from a YouTube video called Sanskrit Codes for Your Couple. It's from the Shiva Rajaya channel.
Right. And our mission today really is to unpack this concept they present. It's quite intriguing.
It is.
The idea is that these specific Sanskrit codes act as portals of energy. That's the term they use.
And portals of energy.
Yeah, to channel, desired qualities into relationships or even just into your own life. It's presented as a path towards, well, life mastery and awakening.
Big claims.
Very big.
Right.
And importantly, it's not just theoretical. They frame it as a practical system, with real applications for different parts of your life.
Life mastery, awakening. That really does set the stage. It makes you wonder, can sounds, ancient sounds, really code our lives today?
It's a fascinating question.
We're definitely going to get into some specific examples, look at how they supposedly work and what it might all mean for you listening.
Sounds good.
So to start, maybe you can unpack this core idea a bit more. What are these Sanskrit codes according to the source?
Okay, so they're described as very specific Sanskrit codes. The key idea is they function as these portals of energy, like direct channels, almost,
Channels
into a certain quality. Could be for your relationship, could be for you as an individual, and there are apparently a lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
The speaker in the video mentions having maybe 60 or 100, but shows about 30 in this particular source. So quite a few.
A whole system. And where do they say these codes come from? You mentioned channeled?
Yes, that's the term used. They're channeled, which suggests, some kind of direct spiritual or intuitive insight.
Right.
But they also stress that these are systems they've personally designed and, importantly, experimented with. This happens within their temple, apparently. So it sounds like a mix of maybe inspiration and practical testing.
Interesting mix. What really grabbed me was the language used to describe them. Not just sounds, but words of magic, or even spells. And this idea that using them is like coding your mind.
Yeah, coding your life.
Those look like programming, isn't it?
Yeah.
Suggests words aren't just descriptive, but actively formative.
Exactly. It puts a lot of weight on intention and the power of these specific sounds. It's a very active view of language.
So if they're like spells or codes, how do you actually use them? How are they activated?
The main method, according to the source, is singing or chanting them. It's about vocalization.
Okay, chanting.
Yeah, that's presented as the primary way to, turn them on.
The source used an interesting comparison, didn't it? Like training that muscle or activating specific neural pathways. Now, obviously, that's not a scientific claim we're vetting here, but it shows how they're framing it, linking this ancient practice to modern ideas about the brain and body.
Precisely. It suggests a tangible effect, not just something purely spiritual. And the claimed outcome is that by chanting, you're essentially channeling the codes of evolution for your relationship, or you're calling the divine to send that specific vibration, that energy into your life or your partnership.
So you're actively inviting something in.
Yeah, and connecting with forces that are ready to sponsor that, like aligning yourself with supportive energies.
The speaker seems very confident about this. They say, I know it works.
I do.
Citing personal results, client sessions where they felt energy shift and get activated. Talked about sponsoring energy, leading to powerful mystical experiences.
Yeah, there's a strong sense of conviction based on experience, and it's also framed as a specific way to connect with the spirit of Tantra.
Ah, Tantra. Can you elaborate slightly on what that means in this context?
Sure. Here, Tantra seems to refer to a path of, integrating everything, spirituality, relationships, the body for growth and awakening. It's not just sitting and meditating. It often involves embodied practices, rituals. Yeah, the source mentions rituals sometimes being part of the activation, maybe outdoors in a jungle or even just indoors. It adds another layer to the practice.
Okay, that gives us a better feel for the background. Let's make it more concrete. What are some specific examples of these codes? Maybe starting with ones for couples.
Right. For relationships, they list several. There's Ra, that's for passion.
Okay.
Rati is for pleasure. Kama, specifically for sex. And then there's Vakya, which is about communication or speech.
Communication, always crucial.
Definitely. And they give an example, chanting Shiva Shakti Vakyama. This is supposedly helpful for, say, communication clarity, especially if maybe a partner isn't being totally honest or if talks often turn into fights.
So very targeted applications.
Yeah.
Interesting. What else for relationships?
There's Satya for truth, Yuga for coupling or union. And they mention Yuga Yama, which is framed as the mastery of coupling.
Mastery. So beyond just fixing small problems.
Yeah, looking at the overall picture for the couple, the bigger dynamic.
Yeah.
Then you have Shukla, which is for clarity.
Clarity. How does that work?
Its purpose is described as clearing the field when there are shadows or tension, basically to create a sense of peace and allow things to relax.
Ah, clearing the air, energetically speaking?
Exactly, to create a clear space where there is no toxicity in the field.
That sounds incredibly useful. Just creating that peaceful environment. What about the day-to-day grind? The stress of work, kids, money?
Right, the daily struggles. That's where nada comes in. It's about ease and flow.
Nada. Flow.
There are variations. Nada Dhamma for mastery of flow. Mahanada for the great flow, which seems to mean tuning into a more holistic vision of life.
Like a bigger perspective.
And Nada Jaya, which means flow of victory. It's explicitly linked to navigating those challenges you mentioned: children, work, family, money issues, or health issues.
Flow of victory. Who wouldn't want a bit of that when dealing with daily chaos?
Exactly. It speaks to that universal desire for things to just work out more smoothly, doesn't it?
It really does. So these are clearly designed with couples in mind, but you mentioned they're also for individuals.
Yes, absolutely. They emphasize that these can be used by anyone, regardless of relationship status.
Okay, so what are some examples for personal growth?
Well, there's Dharma, which is meant to activate your destiny line.
Your purpose.
Essentially, yeah, aligning with your path. Then Karma, which is aimed at clearing the past, things that might be holding you back.
Makes sense.
And there's a mastery version too, Karmayama, for mastery of your karma. And finally, one called Samadhyama, which is for bliss.
Bliss, and that one had a unique activation, right?
Yes, that one is apparently activated by using your own name in the chant, which is quite personal.
It is. So it seems like this goes beyond just the moment of chanting. The source talks about integration into daily life.
Exactly. That's a key point. They're described as connective portals that don't just create a feeling, but actually give you ideas, flow, and inspiration to actively modify certain aspects of your life.
So the chant inspires action.
That's the idea. It's meant to translate that vibrational shift into practical changes in how you live.
It sounds like the overall goal is pretty huge, like a total life transformation.
It really is ambitious. The aim is to, and I'm quoting some of the language here, transform the way we communicate, transform the way we engage into life, even transform our bodies.
Wow.
Achieve emotional, energetic mastery, mastery of our relationships, and mastery of how we engage in life, including the habits that we put in place. It's incredibly comprehensive.
That's a lot. And it clearly requires dedication, right? The source mentions that.
Oh, absolutely. It requires dedicating time, energy, practice, learn. It's presented as something that is not going to happen if you just sit down and wait and try to figure it out with your head.
You have to actually do it.
Yes, it requires taking action.
So boiling it down, what's the sort of overarching philosophy here? What's the big picture they're painting?
The big picture is that this system, especially how it's supposedly designed, is offered as a complete integrated path or system of life mastery. Life mastery again.
And life optimization. It's framing this spiritual practice as a toolkit for really optimizing your whole existence.
And they use that powerful imagery, too, calling it a vortex, a portal of energy, suggesting it's this dynamic, powerful way to influence all the different aspects of your life. It really ties it all together as a system for deep change.
Well, that was certainly an intriguing journey into these Sanskrit codes. We've touched on how they're presented as these energetic tools for transformation, both personal and relational.
Yeah.
Offering specific frequencies almost for qualities like passion, clarity, even destiny, and handling daily life.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is this blend you see. It takes this ancient practice, chanting Sanskrit sounds, and merges it with a very modern goal. This idea of coding your mind and coding your life.
Right, that coding metaphor is strong.
It is, aiming for specific, almost programmable outcomes. And it leaves you with a really interesting question, doesn't it? Well, considering the power attributed here to focused intention, to sound, to ritual, what might we unlock if we approached our own goals, our relationships, even just our daily challenger, with that kind of deliberate, almost coded approach, seeking to really embody and integrate the qualities we want in our lives?
That's definitely something to think about, a really provocative thought to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you continue exploring the many ways people seek to understand and, well, enhance their lives and connections.